Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I am going over my summer beauty must-haves. Now, I wanted to do this product because I feel like my taste, well, most people's taste changes when the season changes. So in the summertime, when I think about beauty products, I reach for things that are more lightweight. So I want things that look really skin-like on my skin, especially because if I am going to be outdoors, I don't want people to be able to see makeup products on my skin. I like things to be more natural looking, more lightweight. When it comes to blush, I do like something that's going to almost give me that sun-kissed look so that my cheeks maybe look a little bit sunburnt. Obviously, I don't want to actually get sunburnt because I am very conscious with my SPF application. But, you know, a little bit of a sun-kissed look is very youthful and it just is a little bit beautifying as well. When it comes to eye makeup, I do like to keep things very soft as well. You will see no palettes here because I like that easy breezy look in the summertime. I think just everyone kind of goes for that more lightweight look, but that's still very glowy on the cheeks. But when it comes to the skin, I want the products to be lightweight and natural looking, but I also want them to be long wearing as well because in the summertime, while the weather is hotter, products can tend to melt on the skin. So we have to be really careful when we're picking products to wear in the summertime because we want them to have that great longevity as well. We want them to still look good even though we are going more lightweight. And I think the tendency with lightweight products is they can be a little bit more dewy or glossy looking and they can tend to fade away or get really greasy. So all the products that I'm using, they are lightweight, but they're long wearing as well. They are going to be very long lasting products that are going to set down, but they're still going to look very natural and skin-like on the skin. So let's just get started with complexion products. I'm also going to be doing a get ready with me portion, so stay tuned for that. But I did not grab a sunscreen for this video. I will list my favorite SPFs down below. I just kind of chose to skip over them. I think I'm going to do a separate SPF video. So I'm going to move right along to primers. And I'm actually only mentioning one primer, and that is this Saie. This is the Glowy Super Gel in the shade Starglow. I got the mini size because I just wanted to pick it up and test it out. I actually spoke about this in my last video, but this has just become such a go-to product for me, and I really enjoy this because the texture of this is incredibly lightweight. It has more of a gel consistency, so it applies onto the skin and just kind of melts into the skin where it doesn't feel heavy on your skin. So if you're someone with an oilier or combo skin type, this would be a really great primer to use that does have a little bit of a glow to it because it doesn't look greasy on the skin. It has kind of a lotion gel consistency and it blends right in, and it does leave kind of a glossy, dewy appearance to the skin. There are no glitter particles to this. It is just a very soft sheen. So look, it leaves the skin looking very healthy and fresh without it looking greasy, and it does set down. But because this has a little bit of a sheen, I do like to just focus it on the high points of the skin. And I just think this is gorgeous for the summertime because it is incredibly lightweight and just feels very smoothing on the skin. And it just leaves you looking fresh and glowy, but not over the top. So that is just a go-to primer in the summertime. The foundation that I chose to mention, so I thought I should mention a few foundations because I feel like when it comes to the summertime, you have a few different foundations that you reach for different occasions. So for the everyday occasion, when I just want to run out the door or I want my skin to look very, very fresh and natural, the Chanel Water Fresh Tint, this is the Beiges Water Fresh Tint in the shade medium. I can wear medium plus as well, but this is just a go-to because it is so easy to apply. It is a water-based product. So when you apply it onto the skin, it just gives your skin like a drink of water. Your skin looks very fresh and healthy. It is slightly perfecting. It's just going to give you a sheer amount of coverage, no heavy coverage here. If you want your skin to look like skin and like you are not wearing makeup at all, this is a great product. And this wears very well in humid and hot weather because it is water-based. It kind of does set down. There are some powder pigments in this as well that just help it adhere to your skin without it looking too greasy. Like throughout the day, it's just going to be kind of sat on your skin. If you are oily, you will probably want to set this down because it does have a slight glow to it, but it does really adhere to the skin and it's not going to budge or move throughout the day. So this is a go-to sheer coverage product. If I want that sheer to light coverage, so just a little bit more coverage than the Water Fresh Tint, this also has more pore perfecting properties. It is more blurring on the skin. This has just become an everyday favorite. This is the Sisley Phyto-Touche Nude in the shade 2W1 Light Beige. I could probably do 2N1, and I will repurchase this, and that's the shade that I will pick up. This is just slightly too warm for me, but I absolutely adore this foundation. Again, this is a water-based product as well, so I find it applies best with a brush. You will see in the Get Ready With Me that I do apply this product with a brush, and it just makes your complexion look a little bit more even, but it gives a very, very healthy glow. But it does set down as well. It doesn't remain tacky or glowy on the skin. It doesn't look greasy at all. This wears very well throughout the day as well. Even in that heat and humidity, this is something that you probably will want to powder down at some point, or if you have oily skin, you'll want to powder it down because it does have a slight glow to it, but it doesn't, throughout the day, it doesn't get greasy looking, or it doesn't look heavy, it doesn't cake up, it doesn't fade away in a way where it looks blotchy on the skin. It fades away very naturally, and for me, this is a long-wearing product, and I just love how it looks because it is so pore blurring on the skin. So if you're looking for something that does give you that soft focus effect, but that looks ultra skin-like, this again is a sheer buildable to light coverage foundation. So it just perfects the skin slightly without it looking makeup-y, and it's just such a gorgeous product. This is absolutely beautiful on the skin. So I do like these both, but if you want that more perfecting, I think the Sisley one looks a little bit better on the skin just because it does have that blurring technology. But the Chanel Water Fresh Tint is something that I'm always going to repurchase, and this is the foundation that I've gone through more just because I guess I use it more. You can also use this as a primer. And then the last foundation I wanted to mention is something that I recently talked about again. This is the Peau Radiant Cushion Foundation Dewy. I wear the shade 030 Medium Ochre. If you're looking for a foundation specifically for a summertime event, maybe you're going to evening drinks, or maybe you're going out for dinner in the summertime, really recommend this one because it perfects the skin, it blurs the skin, gives you that really great coverage. This is a medium coverage foundation for sure. So if you're looking for that perfecting look, where your skin looks more perfected, you're not going to look heavy or cakey, but it's not undetectable on the skin like the Chanel and the Sisley products are. This does look like makeup. Like you're not going to, it's not a no makeup product, but it doesn't, again, look cakey or heavy. But this is absolutely gorgeous. It wears all day long. The longevity of this is incredible, and it just looks beautiful because it gives a soft glow. I know it's called the Dewy foundation. I don't think it's too dewy. It gives me more of a satin finish, I want to say, but it's just incredible. So this is a foundation I recommend in the summertime for more events. And when it comes to concealers in the summertime, honestly, I don't think there's like a summertime concealer. I would just go with whatever works for you all throughout the year. But something I like to utilize a little bit more in the summertime is this Chanel Le Beige Water Fresh Complexion Touch in the shade B30. You could also use this as a foundation as well if you like the idea of the Chanel Water Fresh Tint or the Sisley, but you're just someone that has a little bit more discoloration and you can't get away with the sheer coverage. I think you can get away with sheer coverage, but if you feel personally like you can't, this would be a great option because it is still very skin-like, and it does have those pigment beads where it has that little powder dispersed throughout it. So it will sit down on the skin, but it looks incredibly skin-like and natural. Even though this is more of a light buildable to medium coverage foundation, very, very gorgeous. Has the same finish as the Chanel Water Fresh Tint on the skin. So even though this looks incredibly skin-like, it is going to wear for a really long time as well. And it's beautiful as a concealer underneath the eyes. It works really well for that purpose. It's a very thin layer product. Again, because this is water-based, it's just going to sit on the under eyes very smoothly and beautifully. It's not going to look heavy. It's not going to look cakey. You can't get a ton of coverage from this sort of product, so if you have a lot of dark circles, you might want to go in with a color corrector first. But this is just such a beautiful skin-like concealer that I really recommend if you want that really fresh, healthy look in the summertime when you want your skin to still look like skin. This is the concealer you should be using because you can't really detect it on the under eyes. So it's just a go-to product for me. I want to mention a cream bronzer. I guess this is technically not a cream bronzer. It's more like a liquid bronzer, I guess you could say. It's kind of an in-between. It's like a gel bronzer. This is the Chantecaille Anti-Aging Face Tint. And this for me is the best cream bronzer to use in the summertime because it isn't a typical cream formula. It is a gel formula. So when you apply it onto the skin, it is going to wear beautifully. It's not going to get greasy. It's not going to fade throughout the day. Once you apply it on the skin, it kind of sets down. This is a beautiful skin tint that you can use all over the skin. If you just want your skin to look a little bit more blurred and perfected, but it's not going to add coverage, this is gorgeous. It is more of a bronzy tint, so it will give you a little bit of a bronzy glow. You can also mix this in with a foundation if your foundation's too light, or if you just want to add, again, that bronze glow to your skin for the summertime. But it's such a gorgeous texture. It is such a thin formula that it does not feel heavy at all. It feels incredibly lightweight. And I think a lot of time when it comes to the summertime, when you are applying cream products, sometimes they can feel heavy on the skin once your skin starts warming up in the weather. But because this is a beautiful gel consistency and so thin, it doesn't add any heaviness to the skin. It is just incredibly lightweight, so you're not going to feel it. It does set down, so it's not going to move. You're not going to get greasy, like I said. It is just such a beautiful product to use in the summertime because it looks very skin-like as well. So you'll see how I apply it onto the skin when I do the Get Ready With Me. But this is just a gorgeous, gorgeous product. Recommend if you are looking for a cream bronzer that is going to last through the summertime. So again, you won't have that greasiness that sometimes comes along with cream products. It is gorgeous. And for a powder bronzer, the only powder bronzer I could mention for the summertime is the Sisley Sun Glow Bronzing to Gel Powder. So this is a gel to powder formula. So basically it's like a powder to cream formula, I want to say. You get that ease of application of a powder, but when you apply it onto the skin, it will sort of, it's almost like after 5 minutes, it will just adhere and melt to your skin so that you get this very seamless bronzed effect, where it does not look like you've applied this bronzer. Sometimes with powder bronzers, it just looks like you've applied a powder bronzer. You can detect a little bit of powder on the skin, but with this, it is so seamless and really melts into your skin. This color is gorgeous in the summertime because it is definitely a warmer tone bronzer. Unfortunately, this is only released in one shade. I hope Sisley releases this in other shades because if you're very fair, this won't probably work for you unless you use a very light hand because it is quite warm toned and a little bit deeper. But it has this very soft sheen that runs throughout it, but it's not detectable on the skin. You're not going to see shimmer particles sitting on the skin. It just gives you this very skin-like, beautiful glow that I tend to just use this product more in the summertime because of how skin-like it is, how warm and just bronzed your skin looks. It just gives you such a healthy glow that isn't orange. Gorgeous, gorgeous product. Moving on to highlighters. I wanted to mention a liquid highlighter because I think liquid highlighters look really beautiful in the summertime. They can look really glossy and skin-like. But again, sometimes with cream highlighters, you run into that issue where they will remain too glossy, your hair will get stuck to them, or they just start to look greasy on the skin because they are a creamy product. And even though cream products do look more skin-like, in the summertime, sometimes they're not the best to use because they will just leave you looking really greasy looking and they will fade away and they will look terrible after 4 hours. So we do need to be really careful with how we are using cream products in the summer. We have to pick products very carefully so that they still wear very beautifully. And the best liquid illuminator I have found for the summer is this Chantecaille Anti-Aging Face Illuminator. So this is the Liquid Lumière in the shade Brilliance. This is a really gorgeous kind of gold champagne shade. So this Chantecaille Anti-Aging Illuminator, this definitely, you can see, is quite intense. So with this product, you do want to be careful. You want to go in with a light amount of product. I do like to work off the back of my hand. Again, I'll show you in the Get Ready With Me. But I really love this product specifically for the summertime because it's a liquid illuminator that actually sets down. The tricky thing when it comes to these types of liquid illuminators is that you do need to work fast on the skin because they do set down eventually. But the beautiful thing about these products is that because they set down, you're not going to have that greasy effect throughout the day. They're not going to move, or they're not going to settle. They're not going to fade away. They're not going to take off your makeup underneath, which sometimes happens with liquid illuminators. This is going to set down, but it's also going to give you a beautiful glossy glow that doesn't look makeup-y or heavy at all on the skin, especially if you use a light amount of product. It is a little bit intense, like I said, but as long as you apply it correctly, it's gorgeous, and it's the type of highlighter that looks very skin-like, but is going to have great longevity as well. So I absolutely love that product. When it comes to powder highlight, The highlighter that I love in the summertime is this Tom Ford. This is the Skin Illuminating Powder Duo in the shade 01 Moodlight. And I really love this highlighter because it is incredibly, incredibly soft and subtle. It almost, when you swatch it, it's not super pigmented, which I know a lot of people, if you like a very intense highlighter, you're not going to love this. If you love to be seen from space with your highlighter and you like those shimmer particles, you're not going to like this because this is a very glossy, glowy highlight that just looks like your skin, but that your skin's glowing. It's absolutely gorgeous. Again, this is a Big Chalet product similar to that Sisley bronzer. So when you apply it, you get that ease of application like a powder, but it's going to melt into your skin like a liquid highlighter. So if maybe you struggle to use this type of liquid highlighter because it's a little bit too finicky for you, this type of product will give you that look of a liquid highlighter, but it's just going to be easier to use because it's a powder product. This does really melt into the skin. You do get 2 shades here, so if you're a very fair skin tone, you could almost use this as an illuminating bronzer. For me, I like to mix these 2 shades together. I'll just go back and forth and apply it onto the skin, but it just gives the most beautiful glossy look onto your cheeks. It's absolutely stunning, and again, there are no detectable shimmer particles, so it's not going to look shimmery. You're not going to see sparkles sitting on your skin. It's just going to look very smooth and buttery and gorgeous, and I can't say enough good things about this powder highlight. I had to mention cheeks because blush is just the most important thing to me when it comes to the summertime. I love a cream product again, but a lot of cream products, they fade after about 4 to 6 hours, or they'll become greasy looking on the skin. They'll just get a little bit too glossy looking for my personal preference. So the best cream liquid blush that I have found is the Chanel Le Beige Water Fresh Blush in the shade Intense Coral. Again, another water-based product, so I think those just have a great longevity aspect to them. They just kind of sit and stay on the skin. But this I really, really love. This is a little bit more finicky to use because it's quite intense color payoff. And because it is a water-based product that is a liquid product, it just comes with a learning curve. But again, I will show you how I use this in that video because once you get used to applying this product, how it looks on the skin is second to none. It is just so beautiful. It is very skin-like, melts into the skin, the type of product, probably because it is water-based where you can't detect product sitting on your skin, just gives you the most beautiful sun-kissed glow. I just love this product. I wish there were more shades available, but it is absolutely beautiful. The shade Intense Coral is a great color for me. Very pigmented, but it does not move when you apply it onto the skin. So once I get it blended into the skin, this is the type of liquid blush where it is not going anywhere. It is not moving throughout the day. It's not going to fade away. This has very, very great longevity for a more liquid kind of creamy product. So highly recommend this, especially if you're going for that more no makeup look. This is a product I absolutely will utilize because it's just so skin-like. And when it comes to powder blushes, I had just a few to mention. When it comes to blushes in the summertime, I'd like to use more punchy colors, which is unusual for me because I'm more of a neutral tone girl. But in the summertime, I do like my cheeks to be a little bit more youthful, a little bit more brighter. So I do reach for shades. They give you that pop of color, but they're not going to clash with your skin, so they're not going to look like very unnatural. They're just more bright colors that give you life. So the first shade is this Valentino dual use blush and shadow. So this is it's supposed to be like an eye and cheek product. It's called Eye to Cheek Blush, but I like to just use it on the cheeks. So this is the shade 2. I think it's called Very Rose. I love this for a pop of pink. It is so youthful, so fresh on the skin, absolutely beautiful. It leaves a little bit of a sheen, but it's very similar to those powder products that I've already talked about where it's a powder to cream product. This feels very creamy when you feel it with your fingertips. So it looks like a cream product when you apply it onto the skin. It doesn't look powdery on the skin at all. It's going to melt right in, and it gives a very soft sheen, no shimmer particles in this blush. And a few of you did mention that you just can't wear those pink blushes and you prefer corals. So this is the most beautiful coral shade. This is the shade 8, Roman Sky. It's the perfect pinky peach. Again, a very, very soft sheen. It almost has a sheen because of how creamy these products are versus it actually having shimmer particles. but just the most gorgeous coral shade. And again, the texture is unreal, very creamy. If you want a very matte, well, it's not very matte, but if you want a more matte formula that has absolutely no glow, that's just a typical powder formula, but that does more melt into the skin. This is the Gucci. This is also a cheeks and eye powder, and this is in the shade 04 Bright Coral. So again, a bright coral shade for the summertime. That's just what I tend to reach for, besides that random bright pink shade. Very, very beautiful. I feel like the colors are very similar. This Gucci, this is the shade Bright Coral, but it is just more of a typical powder formula. And again, it's just gorgeous on the skin. A very perfecting blush that just gives you a little bit of color. This is probably the most, like these Valentino ones are more of that powder to cream product. This is just a typical pressed powder, so it's not going to have that melting in effect that those other products do, but it still looks very beautiful on the skin. It will give you a gorgeous flush of color that's very youthful. Now, in all these product categories, I kind of wanted to try and limit myself to one per category, but the eyes is where I failed, and I felt like it was important to give you a few different options, because with the eyes, I don't know, you don't want to just have one look in the summertime. But I definitely do go very simple with my eyes. I love a one and done shadow specifically. I like more cream products. I like things that don't really have that much of a shimmer to them. I like a little bit of a sheen, but I don't like anything beyond a satin finish. I'm not really into metallics in the summertime. I just want to give my eyes a little bit of a wash of color. So these products really reflect that. I first want to talk about something because you could also use this on the cheeks. This is the Chantecaille Sunbeam Cheek and Eye Shade in the shade Ray. So this is a dual-use product, a multi-use product. You can use this on the eyes and the cheeks. Now, this is a little bit more intense than that Tom Ford duo that I mentioned for the cheeks. It's going to give you a little bit more of a sheen, but this is a big jelly product, so it is going to have that quality where it's going to melt into the skin. So if you just want one product and you didn't want to buy a highlighter and an eyeshadow, then you could just use this product because it is gorgeous on the cheeks as well. Just has a little bit more pigment than the Tom Ford duo does, but I absolutely love this on the eyes. It is a gorgeous, it's almost like a coppery tone, but it has a little bit of a rosiness to it. It is absolutely stunning. On the cheeks, a little bit more intensity, like I said, but it still looks very glossy. But on the eyes, it just gives a very glossy lid effect, which I adore in the summertime, but it's a color that is bright enough where it adds life to your eyes. It gives you that brightness, which I really prefer in the summertime. I don't really like dark and deep colors in the summer. I tend to go for these more bright, youthful colors, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Again, no real detectable shimmer particles, so it's not going to look sparkly. It's just going to sit on your eyes beautifully. Love this as a multi-use. And I also really love cream shadow sticks. Now, I recently tried out the Bobbi Brown Longwear Cream Shadow Stick in the shade Golden Amber. Prior to that, I really loved the Laura Mercier. This is the Caviar Stick Eye Color in the shade Copper. If you have the shade Copper from Laura Mercier, you don't need this Bobbi Brown Golden Amber. They're like relatively the same exact shade. But both of these formulas are beautiful. They're both very creamy. They're both very easy to use, blendable, and once they set down on your eyes, they are not budging, they're not moving anywhere. These are the best cream shadow sticks, I think, on the market, even though there has been, recently released cream shadow sticks. I think these still are beautiful. That right there is the Laura Mercier Copper. This is the Bobbi Brown Golden Amber. So they are incredibly similar. Like I said, you don't need both. I think the Bobbi Brown is a little bit lighter, but that is like the only difference. So literally they will probably look the same on your eyes. You do not need both. They are really gorgeous, and these are a little bit more intense than this Chantecaille shade. They have a little bit more of a shimmer to them, but they're still very gorgeous, easy one and done eyeshadows that I just think are really easy to use in the summertime, and I absolutely adore those. The other product I wanted to mention is this Sisley Ombre Eclat Liquid Eyeshadow in the shade number 2 Copper. I adore this in the summertime as well because it's really easy to use for a liquid shadow, and typically liquid shadows they're just harder to formulate, I'd say, but this gives a beautiful glossy sheen. As you can see, you maybe not even be able to see it very well. It just gives your eyes a gorgeous sheen without it being over the top at all. It is very, very seamless on the eyes. It is incredibly easy to apply, very easy to blend out, but once it sets down, again, it's one of those products that's not going to move. So again, with a cream eyeshadow in the summertime, you want something that sets down that isn't going to move, especially if you're working with cream products, because a lot of cream products, they might stay tacky on the eyes, and then you'll get that, you'll get creasing throughout the day, or they'll just fade away. But no, this Sisley eyeshadow is very long wearing. If you're looking for something more subtle than the Bobbi Brown and Laura Mercier caviar sticks or the eyeshadow sticks, this Sisley is the way to go because it is even more sheer on the eyes. It's going to give you less of a shimmer, so it's a very soft satin, just an ever so slight reflect to it, and it just gives a gorgeous sheen. Long wearing, easy to blend, easy to apply, long wearing, just it's perfect in the summertime. So I love that. And then one other product I want to mention is this Westman Atelier iPod in the shade Tabac. Now this is a little bit different because it is like a creamy shadow. It's very interesting. I don't even know how to explain it. It's kind of like moussey feeling almost, but a little harder pressed than a moussey feeling. But it does feel very creamy. It, again, very sheer color payoff. It is buildable, but you're not going to get a lot of intensity off of this. It's just going to offer a very soft sheen. So it's going to look very natural. Again, those are just the types of things that I reach for in the summertime if I just want a very, very natural soft sheen. Now, the issue I will say with this one is that this will fade throughout the day and it will slightly crease. This is not a product that will set down, but sometimes I actually like that because it gives you a very lived-in look, and I just kind of like the way this wears off. So even though it does fade away throughout the day, it fades away in a very beautiful effect where it doesn't look like gross as it's fading away. It'll just fade away and look a little bit more glossy. It'll kind of look a little bit more lived in. It will kind of crease a little bit, but you can just go back in and tap things out so that it looks maybe a little bit more blended into the skin. So that's like the one issue I'd say, but I kind of like that about this shadow. But if you're looking for something that just gives you a gorgeous sheen, that's not long wearing at all, this is a gorgeous product, but it's really nice to layer as well. Like, you can layer this Chantecaille eye shade over top of this sort of product. But I like the effect of this so much that I do still use it a lot in the summertime. It's just not going to be a very long wearing product. So that's kind of the downfall of the Westman Atelier iPods. I wanted to also mention an eyeliner. So if I just want to add a little bit of definition, because I am not showing you any palettes in this video, I do still like to add a little bit of definition at the lash line. So I'll take this Hindash Eye Tone pencil in the shade Intra. It's a really beautiful warm brown shade, and this is just a straight up eye kohl. So the really nice thing about this product is that you can apply it to the lash line and you have ample time to blend this sort of product out. It is very blendable because it is a kohl, so it's not going to set down. So it's not going to be ultra long wearing, but you can make these types of pencils more long wearing by applying an eyeshadow over top to set that product down. But I just really like the effect it gives because it's a gorgeous warm brown shade. So it gives my eyes a little bit of a pop of color. It kind of makes them stand out a little bit more. It'll give my eyes a little bit of definition, but still look very soft because I can blend it out on the lash line, and it's just gorgeous. But when I want to tight line, so I like to tight line the upper waterline, just so my lashes look a little bit thicker. It just completes the look, so there's not such a harsh line from where your mascara is applied and your lash line is bare. I fill in that tight line with an eyeliner, and this Hindash one won't really sit in the tight line too well because, again, it's a kohl, so it's going to fade away. But for the tight line, I like to use this Hourglass Voyer waterproof gel eyeliner in the shade Cave. So this is a brown shade, and I really like to switch it up and use browns in the summertime because I think it just looks a little bit more fresh, a little bit more natural. This is gorgeous. When you apply it, it has a really nice consistency where it's easy to apply. It doesn't feel dry. It just glides right on, and once it sets down, it sets. You're going to need some waterproof makeup remover or some Bioderma just to get it off because it is quite long lasting. And for mascara, this is a new favorite, but I've been searching for a brown mascara, and YSL came out with their Lash Clash in a brown shade, and this has just been amazing. I really, really like this. It gives me a lot of length. It's not as volumizing, but I don't mind that. The color of this is just beautiful. It doesn't fade It doesn't flake or smudge on me. And I really like this brown shade. It's not like too light of a brown. It gives my lashes enough of definition, and I think it makes my eye color pop a little bit more, just because black can sometimes look a little bit harsh with my features. With the brown, it just really is beauty enhancing, and I love this mascara when I want that fresh and more natural look. A brown mascara is just absolutely beautiful on the eyes. Again, it's just very subtle, or it's more subtle than a black mascara, maybe less stark. So I just think it pairs very beautifully for those fresh makeup looks. And lips, I love a tinted lip balm. So these products are going to reflect that. They're basically just a tinted lip balm because that's just what I tend to go to. I tend to not even line my lips in the summertime. I just want to apply my lip color and be done and throw it in my bag. So my options are the NARS Afterglow Lip Balm in the shade Fastlane. I am so impressed with these tinted lip balms because they are the most comfortable hybrid kind of lipstick lip balm formulas that I have ever tried. They feel so comfortable. They don't get that weird white gloopy effect that some lip products do. Very comfortable, not long wearing at all, but it gives your lips a really nice tint of color, especially this one. This is kind of like a Your Lips But Better shade. It's just a little bit pink, so I really adore that. And then I also love these Chantecaille Lip Cheeks. They come in so many shades, so various colors. You can pick whatever color suits you best. I really like the shade Patience for just a nude lip color that is perfect in the summertime. I tend to go for more pinky nudes. This one's a little, it has a great combo of like peach, pink, and brown, so it's that perfect in between. It's not too light of a color for me, and I just adore this formula. It's a little bit more balmy than the NARS one. This almost feels like it has a little bit of oiliness to it, where this one feels more like an actual balm that's tinted. It's very beautiful as well. Again, not long wearing. You're going to need to throw it in your bag to touch up. And then finally, for a gloss, I love this Chanel Rouge Cocoa Gloss in the shade 804. And I really like this because the formula of this is beautiful, but I think this just gives a nice touch of color. It's nothing too obnoxious, even though it looks obnoxious in the tube. It's not a pigmented lip gloss, so it's not going to go onto your lips with that color payoff, but it gives a very soft pink effect, and it's just very comfortable. So it's something that I like to apply over top just to get a little bit more of a glossy effect on the lips. I typically don't like a matte lip, so I like my lips to always feel hydrated and have a little bit of a gloss. So this is just really nice to throw in the bag, and it pairs very beautifully with any sort of color, even though it does look like a brighter pink. I just love that. And I just have one more product to mention, and that is a powder. Now, you've seen me talk about like the Chantecaille Perfect Blur powder. I typically don't like that in the summer because it's a little bit too heavy. It can look a little bit too makeup-y just because it is quite an intense powder. If you're someone that has a lot of discoloration or is very oily, that might work a little bit better. But in the summertime, I just want to set down my makeup, but I still want that glow to shine through in certain areas. I don't want my powder to add any texture on the skin. I want it to look seamless and like I've applied no powder. But what I like my powders to do is add that blurred effect. So it really reduces the appearance of pores. It makes everything look soft focus and just beautiful and filtered. That is this is the Clé de Peau Refining Press Powder. I'll just go in with this Sonia G Master face brush, and I'll apply it in any areas where I'm a little bit shiny or where I tend to get a little bit more glowy throughout the day. That's typically just the center of my face here, middle of my chin, middle of my forehead, and like the sides of my nose, right beside the nose where I get a little bit shiny. But this powder is beautiful. Like I said, it is seamless. It is undetectable on the skin. It is just going to set down your foundation, but it is also going to give you that blurred effect where your skin just looks so smooth and so soft focused. This is my go-to summertime powder because, again, it's undetectable and it is just beautiful. Now, that is everything for my summer beauty must-haves. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. Please let me know down below your summer beauty must-haves. I would love to hear from you because I feel like I can learn a lot from you guys as well and pick up some more products that perform really well in the summertime. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Like this video if you like it, and I'll see you in my next video.